Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Payoff Pitch presented by Fantasy Phenom. I'm Kyle. That's Mike. Back to breakdown, recap, of course, today's 13 games, breakdown tomorrow's 15-game slate. We got all Friday night games, Friday night lights. It's going to be a good day. Mike, so as most of our viewers know, I've been a FanDuel player pretty much my entire life, and I've been trying out DraftKings this week, and the dark side has welcomed me. The dark side has.
Yeah, there's something about DraftKings baseball with the two-pitcher strategy that works for me. I mean, it's totally different strategy. I think we were talking about lineup building. We've been preaching that since March, and it's for some people. It's not for others. I know myself. I don't know pricing that well on DraftKings. I mean, on FanDuel, so I kind of tend to avoid it. But here we are coming up on July. I feel like I've got lineup construction down on DraftKings. I'm understanding how size of slate affects size of slate and pitcher pricing really affects the whole slate landscape. So that's so important about these night shows. We talk about size of slate, pitcher landscape, or pitcher pricing, and some game theory, taking you into tomorrow when the lineups come out.
I think the one thing I love so much about DraftKings is I've consistently nailed my pitchers all year. It's the one thing I've been able to do consistently. For whatever reason, I seem to get pitchers right. Bats, I'm average at. I'll miss on stacks more than I miss on pitchers. And like tonight, Jimmy Nelson and Dinelson Lamet. I faded Kershaw for those two. Pretty much equal production. In fact, Lamet almost matched Kershaw's total, and he was 7K. Kershaw was 13. So much more value there. And I nailed my stacks today, man. I had Brewers, Padres, and I had some one-offs. I played Batista and Tulo. That didn't work out well. Shout out to Chris. He put me on Gregory Polanco for 2.8 today. Talk about exploiting some pricing right there.
And that's total buy low right there.
And then through the Brewers, Jonathan VR leading off. I bought into that narrative. Shout out to Clint. So I was looking at VR all day, and Clint, you guys know our relative minor league guy, resident. There you go. He was like, "Yo, just a heads up, team. VR has been crushing his rehab starts." I was like, "All right, lock." Right? I had VR. I was looking at VR anyway, leading off, and then he comes in and tells me that. I was like, "Lock." Played him with Braun, Pena. No, I didn't play Pena. I had him in my player pool and I took him out. Played Gary Sanchez instead. But Braun, Santana, and I played Shaw, who did okay. But, oh man, that game was beautiful. And then the Padres, another guy that's buy low, Hunter Renfroe was 2.9 on DraftKings, and Manuel Margot was 3.1. Played both of them against Garcia. God, it's a good night, man. I'm cashing in every single contest, main, turbo, and late. Top 50 in a GPP on DraftKings. Didn't know I'd ever say that this year.
There you are. Yeah, man. I mean, just kind of piggyback off all of those statements. Like, for one, this community, everything that everyone is contributing is awesome. It's great because people can come in, they realize who they can trust for what different things, and I think it's been a great time, I think. So I just want to encourage everybody to keep up playing, keep up different strategies, bringing what you do to the table. It's awesome. As far as DK, like, buy low, sell high is so huge because of their dynamic pricing, I think. When you see people that are higher priced than they should be, generally it's because they're on a sort of a hot streak. And you can, like I said, either buy that or sell it. And the same thing, like you said, with Greg Polanco, man. Not been playing well. His price reflects it. But he's a better player than that price. So it's a very important thing to note when you're looking at pricing on DK. And with pitching, I've been doing it all year. I play multiple lineups. I narrow down my pitching exposure to probably 3, maybe 4 guys when I'm playing 5 to 10 lineups, and then I just play. I rank my stacks. Maybe not stacks, but my places that I want to go, and then I kind of put exposure to my bats a bunch of different places, spread it out. Because if you nail that pitching down, eventually you're going to get one of those lineups to send to the top, and that's been working for me. It really has.
Yeah. Real quick, a couple other shout-outs. Michael Perez in the early slate cashed $3,300, brought home a GPP.
Wow.
So congrats to him. And then a minor win, but major for him, is one of our guys, Anthony, in the group. He didn't know what cash games were until a couple days ago. We were talking about, different contests, and he's been playing strictly cash games since that, and he's cashed in every slate. So he found out that he was a cash player, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a steady build. All the Sharks are in cash too, so I promise you there's nothing wrong with cash games. It's just it doesn't have the glory appeal of those huge take-homes. But I play cash every night to hedge my GPP bets. And, shout out to him. He found out he was a cash player, and he's been cashing consistently. That's what it's all about. You find out the type of player you are, the amount of time you have to put into research, and it's all about picking the right contests.
Contest selection in DFS is gold. If you don't understand it, you will not be a profitable player. I'm telling you, from someone who came into DFS with just being a sports fan, someone that I consider myself a huge sports fan. I wanted to play DFS, was losing money, and I started to realize that it just so heavily depends on so much more than sports knowledge. And that's where our whole community, people that are sports fans that want to try this out, really does help. Really gives you that extra edge and the nuances of DFS that you don't realize.
Yeah. So, shout out to all our winners. Congrats again, guys. Love the contributions.
Absolutely.
Love the contributions coming in the Phenom group. It's awesome to walk in there and just, see that everyone is answering each other's questions. It's no longer having to tag me, Mike, Jeremy, Theo, any of the other guys that are in there. It's, now everyone is understanding kind of how to play, and everyone's helping each other, and the new guys are being welcomed in with open arms. So I love
Absolutely.
it, man. It's awesome right now.
Keep it up, guys. I think we love seeing it. We're learning from you as well as you guys learning from us. It's one big family.
Facts.
So get involved if you're interested. Hit us up. Obviously, today isn't over. We're recording at 12:30 a.m. Eastern time, so there's still 2 games going on. Obviously, the Chicago-New York game is in the 5th inning. Then the game in LA is in the 8th. But we got a full recap. Obviously, Kyle touched on it with the Milwaukee stack. We talked about attacking Homer Bailey last night. Hopefully, you guys did that. Corey Kluber, Clayton Kershaw doing their thing once again. Talked about them last night. So
What about my boy?
Definitely a good day. Lamet
Yes.
took the cake in that spot. San Diego put up a 6 spot.
Bro,
So
the Met might be
shout
my
out.
favorite pitcher to watch. I love his slider.
So a lot of guys, man, coming up with some elite movement and some elite velocity. It's been an interesting year to watch in baseball. You got these young pitchers that are learning this the new trade, which is movement and velocity, limiting your pitch type.
Yep.
And then you got bats coming up that it's walk, strikeout, or home run. I don't know if it's good for the game or bad. I really don't, man.
I think it's good, man. I like strikeouts and home runs. I do. I think the peak of baseball was in that home run era, really. The steroids, everything like that. To be honest with you, I don't think the majority of fans care about steroids. I think the home runs are great for the game. It's exciting, and the strikeouts are good, man. We love seeing the dominant pitching performances and the 500-foot home runs.
I mean, it's definitely debatable. I mean, there's definitely things we're losing out on. I think we don't see them as many web gems as we normally did. Definitely in for a longer game if people are going to continue to walk like we've seen. And if the only action is a guy trotting around the bases, I think it's a debate, right? I think it's a debate worth having, and we'll see where it goes from here. I think baseball is kind of at a crossroads at this point. So
I personally love it. It's made baseball so much more fun this year for me. And it's great because the Giants don't hit home runs, so there's that.
We don't, no.
The Giants,
They're struggling with that.
the Giants are stuck in the past. But yeah, man, looking at the Giants and Pittsburgh Pirates tomorrow. Johnny Cueto has not been good in his last couple starts. He's not been really good overall this year. Really regressing from where he was last year. And a guy that's kind of regressing in a positive way is Garrett Cole. He has a 178 average against him, 252 WOBA in his last 3 starts. He's limiting the fly balls against him. Only 28% of the balls hit are fly balls. And he gets the benefit of PNC Park with a Giants team that doesn't have any power. So Garrett Cole is one of the guys. I think he's a great GPP option. Now, he is higher priced. He's 9.5, so you're going to get him at extremely low ownership. Nobody's going to pay that for him. To put that in perspective, Lance McCullers is 8.8.
So I look at this game, I see most likely a low-scoring affair. I mean, yeah, both these guys are worse this year than they have been in their career. Cueto has been okay. I mean, 10 out of 16 quality starts this season. That's almost 65%. I think that's something you could probably look for today. I don't know that he's a good DFS play, just because Pittsburgh, doesn't strike out. They only struck out 5 times today against Archer. Mm-hmm. They are bottom 5 in almost every offensive category as a team. Even worse in the last 14 days, but it has come down to price with these two guys. I think this could be a low-scoring game, but I don't see a whole lot of strikeouts in this game. I don't. Definitely both GPP plays, because a 15-game slate, I think there's a lot better options. I don't think either of these two make a top 5 for me, but I'm not alone, I don't think.
Now, see, I actually like a little attacking of Johnny Cueto tomorrow, and Andrew McCutchen, with the addition of being on fire, has seen Johnny Cueto more than any other batter. He has 73 plate appearances versus him, wow. 4 home runs. So, I mean, you wouldn't call that a great home run to plate appearance ratio, but still 4 home runs, 4 doubles, 6 walks, 9 singles. So he's getting hits off of him. Almost a 300 average. I would consider that good. He's mad hot right now. And then I think I can go back to Bell and Polanco today. Polanco's 2,900 on DraftKings again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bell's been hitting home runs as well. I mean, you look at Cueto, if anything is not on par for his career, it's his home run rate. I mean, he is on pace for a career high in home runs this season, which is strange, being that he's pitching in San Francisco instead of where he used to pitch, which was majority of his career, which was Miller Park. Yep. So, interesting there. I mean, obviously it's a trend in all baseball, but I think you can definitely find some home runs on this team. I like the guys you mentioned.
So that's kind of where I'm looking. Tampa, Baltimore, we're looking at attacking some Chris Tillman tomorrow, who is pretty bad in every sense of the word. 50% hard contact over his last 3 games. We talk about what Tampa does. Look at this right here. Away versus right-handed pitching, Mike. 227 ISO and a 346 WOBA with a home run per fly ball rate of almost 22%. Corey Dickerson, Logan Morrison, Steven Souza, Tim Beckham, 4-man stack. I like it.
It's obviously the players that they've targeted for this team. That's how they've built their lineup. They've realized, different than the Giants. They realize this is how you're winning games, hitting the ball hard. Now they're in Camden Yards against a player in Chris Tillman who's priced like a relief pitcher, and for good reason. He's averaging 2 DraftKings points per game this season.
Is that good or bad?
He's given up a home run in that means
new DraftKings player.
I think you get more than 2 DraftKings points for 1 strikeout. He's pretty much given up a home run in every start. Let's see, at home this season, he's given up 5 home runs, so not crazy, but a batting average against of 314. So he has been much worse on the road. Versus Tampa this season, he got shelled for 1 home run, 5 Ks, 2 walks, 8 hits. Got pulled in the 5th. So
yeah, I'm looking there, man.
Agreed.
Boston, Toronto. I don't think I want to stack either side here, or really pitch either guy. I hate stacking Boston, so I'm not going to go there. Doug Fister, I mean, he could get blown up tomorrow. Absolutely, there's that potential, but I don't see him as a must stack against with Toronto. So I think this ends up being pretty much a game fade for me.
Yeah, I mean, pretty solid first start against the Angels.
Absolutely.
Had a quality start.
Reach value.
But yeah, absolutely. So was it amazing performance? No. Absolutely not. I think you can easily go after him. I'm definitely not trying to pitch him. Toronto has been a tough team to stack. I don't think I want a full stack against Fister. That's kind of why he didn't really make our top 5. And then Estrada against Boston. It's just really not the spot for him. He has been good at home this year, but it's really not the spot for me against Boston. I really don't attack them ever all year at this point.
I feel it. Josh says we can never again have another incident where Bartolo's recommended as a play.
Yes. I was hoping this would happen, man. I was fearful though. Josh, I was fearful that he would recognize that he had one foot out the door and pitch lights out just to stay. But the Mets are going to be calling soon, right? They need to fill those seats, and you know how people get hard-ons for Bartolo Colon in Citi Field.
Tim Tebow is the next ticket seller. Serious. I promoted him.
God, man. Every time that guy hits a home run, the first thing you see on SportsCenter, like, what is happening?
So looking at Mike Montgomery tomorrow, dude, he's pitched really, really well. He's not giving up home runs, and he's not giving up fly balls, and it's going to be a very, very, very contrarian stack. But Cincinnati absolutely obliterates left-handed pitching in this park. They hold a 232 ISO and a 347 WOBA with a home run per fly ball rate of 21% and an average of 274 in itself. Votto hit another 2 home runs today. He's still in play versus a lefty. He averages a home run every 9.7 at bats versus lefties. So no issue with that. Adam Duvall, we know what he does. Even Suarez has hit lefties really well this year. And then Schebler has been a reverse splits guy. He has a 324 average versus lefties with almost a 300 ISO versus them.
The thing about Montgomery that has surprised me is the ground ball rate. Obviously, that's kind of what you want to see in this park is a high ground ball rate, double-digit ground balls in each of his last 3 starts. But he's looked probably better than he is. I don't think that the Cubs even thought he'd be making a 4th start. Here he is.
That's what I'm saying. He's not
5th start.
This good. His numbers are this. I mean, his numbers are good, but he's not been this good ever.
Yeah. No, if you look at regression numbers, a BABIP of 258, a left-on base percentage almost 80%. He's got an ERA of 2.5 to an xFIP of 4.25. So definitely screams some regression there. Cincinnati, another team that I generally don't want to pitch against. I think this is I think Montgomery is a sneaky guy to attack tomorrow. I agree.
I don't think a lot of people will do it just because of how he's pitched so far. So, Cleveland, Detroit, 2 guys. This could scream game stack as well. Anibal Sanchez in his 2 starts since coming back up has pitched well. He hasn't gotten blown up. Detroit gets Josh Tomlin. He has not been pitching well, actually giving up 3.5 home runs per 9 innings. Yeah. So definitely can look there. Avila, Miguel Cabrera's been hot. Justin Upton's been hot. So you can look there. I think either side is playable against. It's just a matter of do you want to pay for it. I personally don't find myself on this game. There's another game. I'm looking at Miami-Milwaukee more so as I think my favorite game stack.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tomlin's a guy that you look at for one-offs for a home run. The guy obviously has been having a problem giving up the home run, kind of having more of a walk problem recently over his last 3 starts. He's been walking some batters. So his last 3 starts have been bad, right? You look, he's got 6 home runs, 5 walks, and 13 earned runs against Milwaukee, the Dodgers, and Baltimore. He has been a little bit better at home this season, but still, I really think he's a guy that I look at this lineup trying to find some one-offs for home runs because they do hit him.
Yeah, so I'm with you there. Philly, New York, the Mets. Dude, bro, the Mets have been hot as of late. Curtis Granderson stays hot. Jay Bruce has been swinging the bat nicely. Asdrubal Cabrera has been swinging the bat well, and then there was one other guy. Who did I see? It's not coming to my head. But those two
Rivera.
guys. Was it TJ? I don't remember who it was. But anyways, I like them tomorrow against Lively, who has not been good. Doesn't have any K potential. Mets, they're okay at home. But I still think their power is power and Lively is bad. And so I'm always going to give advantage to pitcher, whether it's good or bad. And Lively's worse than the Mets offense. So I like to go to them tomorrow. And then Jacob deGrom has got to be in play versus Philly, man. Got to be in play. They strike out almost 25% of the time on the road versus righties. A 131 ISO, so no power. I don't see how this isn't a good play.
Yeah, top pitcher on the board tomorrow as far as price at 12.5. Second, coming in at second is Alex Wood at 11.7. I think deGrom, we know he can absorb some runs with his strikeout rate. He doesn't generally walk batters. Actually, he has been walking some more as of late. But he's been absorbing that as well. We know strikeout pitchers, they do generally have a high walk rate. 30-plus DraftKings points in 3 straight games at San Francisco, Washington, and Chicago. Blake Lively, I keep calling him Blake, man. I want him to be Blake Lively so bad. Ben Lively. Yeah, another guy. I mean, having a home run problem, I think it's a similar situation to me. I don't know that I want to full stack at all on a 15-game slate, so I look at the guys that do give up a lot of home runs in bad spots against teams that are hot, similar to, and that fits the Mets profile at this point. So look at the guys, look at last 14 games. We provide that, obviously, with the spreadsheets. You can look at every starting lineup and what those starting lineup has done the last 2 weeks. I would do that when those lineups come out tomorrow to see the best spots to go against Lively. Now, looking at maybe Duda as a possible guy for the Yanks.
Oh,
the Yanks need a first baseman. I keep trying to play GM, man. I mentioned Justin Bohr the other day, maybe being on the trade market. I think Duda's another guy that could possibly be on the market, man. I don't know. You talk about a lefty in Yankee Stadium that hits home runs. Seems like a good fit.
I feel it.
They got some depth at first base with Rivera and Bruce. I can see it.
I feel it, man. So I'm looking there, and then game stack right here, man. Miami, Milwaukee. Brewers are arguably the hottest team in baseball. I hope Jonathan VR leads off again tomorrow. His price actually dropped $400, and he's still $2,500 on FanDuel. Buy low on both sites. Ryan Braun is hot AF since he came back. Jesus Aguilar should play tomorrow. Eric Thames told the manager today he needs a mental break, so I'd fully expect Aguilar to be back in that lineup. He's 34 on DraftKings, 23 on FanDuel. Lock and load there. Jet Bandy, if he plays his minimum salary on FanDuel, I'd imagine Manny Pena gets another start with how hot he's been. Orlando Arcia is still $2,500. The Brewers are still too cheap not to stack. Domingo Santana is still under $3K on FanDuel, so if you're on FanDuel, I don't know how you don't stack Brewers tomorrow.
Yeah, on FanDuel it makes more sense for Brewers. I think Garza I'd rather attack than Volquez, and you look at the pricing on DraftKings, they're kind of getting a bit of a discount going to Miami and the Miami side. Mm-hmm. I mean, but like we said at the top, the dynamic pricing on DraftKings just illustrates what Milwaukee's been doing. I mean, all of these guys 4K and above, except for Aguilar, who's been a platoon player, but I guarantee if this regular playing time continues, you're going to see that price jump up. So, if they had more time to adjust pricing after today's game, I guarantee he wouldn't be where he's at. Definitely a good cash play at first base tomorrow to get some high-price pitching in.
Yep, I'm with that 100. So, and then I'm with you on attacking Garza, man. That's one of the guys we're looking at attacking. So, again, I think game stack here. I think there's one on every slate, and this is going to be it tomorrow. This is the game.
3K for Justin Bohr on FanDuel is too cheap.
Yep.
Yeah, the prices have come up a bit on DraftKings for Miami, but in Miller Park, that's probably why.
With you. Looking at New York and Houston, now here is the lock of the day. Lance McCullers, over his last 3 games, has not given up a home run, and he's striking out 42% of his batters. New York has not been great. They are mad injured. and they have not been the same team on the road at all. At least not with power numbers. So
it's scary, man. What's going on with the Yanks right now? I mean,
and they don't have anyone left.
It's rough. I mean, you watched that poor guy today, Fowler. They brought him up, and traditional center fielder in the minors playing right just decided to bullet for a foul ball. Really, it was 5 rows deep, and he bulleted to try and catch it. Try and show improve, and blew out his knee. Man, it looked like a knee. I don't know for sure. I'm sure if I would check Twitter right now, I'd figure it out, but it looked like a knee. So didn't even get his first at bat, but just goes to show, like, the next man up again, but who's left? I mean, they had to bring Chris Carter back up. They've got Ref Snyder, but they're going to have to bring somebody else up. And the Yankees did have a 3-hour rain delay. I know that's going to play an issue. On a getaway day to Houston that played a day game today, you got a team coming. The Yanks are probably getting, like, if this is a 3-hour game tonight, that means it'll probably end at 2 a.m. Eastern, and they'll get in, what? 5 in the morning?
Yeah.
4 or 5 in the morning? So it's going to be a rough go for things against McCullers, who shut the Yankees down in Yankee Stadium this year.
In New York. Yeah. And he's a much better pitcher at home.
Six innings, only gave up 4 hits, 7 Ks. And like you mentioned, what he's done over the last couple starts since he's come back. So seems like a good spot at a good price. On the other side of things, Michael Pineda on the road has been a thing. He is in a bit of a funk, which you never want to see with the what's the best way to put this? I don't want to say the head case, but like,
he's a drama queen. He's
got mental problems, man.
Yeah.
He's in a bit of a funk right now. Definitely been up and down. It's hard to trust him on the road. I mentioned my theory about him having to sit through the top of the first, affecting his rhythm. And you mentioned to me prior to the show, the first guy he faced is probably the worst leadoff batter you could probably face in the major league. So if that guy takes him deep, it could affect those mental issues a little more than we want.
If George Springer, who just seems to take everybody deep in the first inning, if he takes Pineda deep, Pineda's going to be in his own head already, and Houston's going to go off tomorrow. So. Not that he still can't get blown up if Springer doesn't, but if Springer hits a leadoff home run tomorrow, Houston's going to go off. It's just Pineda can't recover, and probably the best guy to do it is Springer. So in the league, leadoff home run wise. So Houston's going to be a sneaky stack. I still don't think people will be on the train of stacking against Pineda because he has the pedigree of the strikeouts, but he is very, very attackable right now, and I think Houston goes low owned.
I believe that Pineda's played Houston this year. I'm going to make sure.
I believe he was in that start against McCullers. Either that or Severino.
Perhaps. 6 2/3, 3 earned, 1 homer, 7 Ks.
He pitched well.
So I definitely look to see who gave that home run against. But yeah, I mean, Pineda, you know what you're getting with him, man. If he comes to play, he comes to play. I think it was Correa. You're right.
I believe it was. So. Looking at Texas, Chicago, so nobody's gonna listen to me. I already know it, but if this comes back to be a good play, I promise you guys are gonna hear about it on the show tomorrow, and it's Mike Pelfrey. This dude has an ERA right above 3 for a reason. He's just been a really, really smart pitcher. His strikeouts are up over the last 3 days, and over his last 3 starts. And his hard contact is 18.75%. Texas on the road versus righties strikes out almost 27% of the time. Not saying Pelfrey's an elite strikeout guy, but for his price, he's not giving up a ton of hits. He knows how to pitch around guys that he can't get out. And there are guys in this lineup that are very vulnerable at getting out. So I'm just saying, I don't know if Pelfrey will be in my lineups tomorrow, but I am not looking to stack against him, and I may even pitch him.
Yeah, no, Texas on the road is a thing. I mean, they strike out a ton on the road. All the ratios are much lower on the road. It makes sense because of the ballpark they play in. Obviously, this is also a good ballpark. But let's do this thing again, man. We did it tonight with the late game. Obviously, you got me with Lamet. I'm taking Bibbins Dirks. The dude has come out of nowhere after his 10 years in the minor leagues to have a 3-0 start to the season. I just watched him pitch like 8 innings of shutout ball against the Yanks and was like, what the hell is going on? So, yeah, let's do this thing again. I'm going Mr. Dirks.
Mike's trying to come back from this, man.
I was trying to even the score.
Lamette made. I should be up 2-0 for this because Lamette just absolutely dominated this pitching performance. So, but I'm with it, man. We'll find a game on each slate where we're attacking each other. I got Pelfrey, you got Vivens Dirks.
We'll see what happens.
Minnesota, Kansas City. I don't know that I attack either guy here.
These guys are like the two StatCast poster boys.
Yeah, I'm not going to pitch either of them, but I don't know that I stack against them either. This could end up being another game fade for me in Kansas City. Minnesota's not great versus lefties, but Vargas doesn't have elite upside. And Irvin Santana has been bad over his last couple starts. Casey's been kind of hot at the ballpark. Irvin Santana, again, I think this is a game fade for me. Not really.
Could it possibly be a thing like we see all these hard throwers in the majors anymore, and then Vargas comes in throwing 88-mile-an-hour fastball? Do you think like people are like thrown off, like what, like they're so geared up to? I don't know.
I would say his 9% K rate over his last 3 games would say no.
Yeah, dude pitches to contact. Both these guys pretty much do. They make for not really great DFS plays when you look at the hard contact percentage, exit velocity. StatCast numbers tend to like these two pitchers. I kind of second the thoughts about Minnesota versus the lefties. If I'm thinking about playing Minnesota, you got to look at the changeup numbers as a team because Vargas, that's his pitch. That's my advice there.
Yeah, I feel it. Washington, St. Louis. Tanner Roark has been absolute garbage his last couple games. I believe he's 5 games in a row now where he's just been complete ass.
Dude needs to eat some Wheaties, man.
Yeah.
Find your Wheaties. I drafted you. What the heck is going on? Maybe I should send him some Wheaties. Yo, by the way, dude, I was thinking today, I had a discussion today with my partner on the ambulance. What would be like your cereal? I know you eat a lot of cereal, right? I've seen you eat cereal a few times now. Reese's What's Puffs. Like your cereal Mount Rushmore?
Reese's Puffs. I actually love frosted wheat. Is that what they're called? The wheat things with the
frosted mini wheats?
There you go, that one.
Yeah, dude, those are dope. Those are really good.
I love Honey Bunches of Oats and I'm gonna say Fruity Pebbles.
Okay. See, I prefer Trix over Fruity Pebbles. I think they're kind of similar. I'd rather have Trix. Not a fan of Lucky Charms. Nah. I was when I was a kid, but not really. Yeah, I'll give you Reese's Puffs. That's obviously a staple. I think Cinnamon Toast Crunch has to be on there.
Dude, someone just said that in the chat. They were like, Cinnamon Toast Crunch all day.
It has to be on there. And then I think, like, you know, my low-key, like, out of left field play, you ever have Special K red berries with, like, the freeze-dried strawberries?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? That shit's delicious, man.
I feel you.
I don't know. But yeah, Wheaties, Roark, do it, man. I know you're listening.
Do it. But I don't think I stack St. Louis, to be fair, because they're pretty bad at home. But I'm not pitching Roark. Not doing it.
Yeah, I can't do it. What was it? I know in the last 3 starts, I think he's given up 6 plus earned runs in each one. Let me make sure that's correct.
The viewers are all on your side with the cereal Mount Rushmore. They like your choices.
Word. I know. I brought it up. I caught you off guard on that one, man.
I wasn't prepared.
It's real. I'm sorry about that. Man, now I'm thinking about cereal. Oh, Raisin Bran is a good one too. But yeah, 6 plus earned runs in 3 straight starts. Cincinnati at Miami, Atlanta. So 2 out of 3 at home. He's given up a home run in 5 straight. And he's double-digit walks in 4 straight. I mean, what's going on? I mean, it maybe last year was kind of an outlier. I mean, he kind of bursted on the scene. I know he was, actually, no, it wasn't last year. It was 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't think he's a great play. I just don't want to stack St. Louis at home. I'll find a dong, maybe Matt Carpenter.
Yeah. it's tough to stack St. Louis on a 15-game slate. I don't think I've ever done it, to be honest with you. Like I've definitely stacked St. Louis on like shorter slates, but you look at that lineup top to bottom, it doesn't like wow you, and the prices are never awesome. So
I'm with it. Colorado, Arizona. Now here is one of my favorite guys that's going to go low owned tomorrow, and that is Robbie Ray. Colorado does not hit lefties well. They don't hit guys well on the road. They're on an 8-game losing streak. Their numbers versus lefties are not crazy good on the road. 144 ISO, 248 average. Robbie Ray has already done well versus them this year, and he holds a 30% strikeout rate on the year. Lot to like. I think Robbie Ray is going to go super low owned tomorrow with Alex Wood at 11.7 and Jacob deGrom. So Robbie Ray is going to be super low owned. I actually love right now off the bat the pairing of 3 pitchers, and it's Alex Wood and Lance McCullers because it's very doable with value already on the slate, and Robbie Ray and Lance McCullers. I don't know.
It's gonna be a tough call.
I don't know that you'll get 2 aces for under 20K on a slate on DraftKings.
It's a perfect tournament pivot off DeGrom. I think I guarantee Robbie Ray is going to have half the ownership that DeGrom does. I think playing DFS as enough as I do, every guy, the top 3 pitchers in price on any slate get at least 15% ownership just because of their ace potential. Now, I could go either way on this player. I think from an ownership and like slate landscape perspective, Robbie Ray makes for a good play just on the surface. Because like you said, against Colorado, he has done well. I mean, he's having a breakout year, but I'm still on the fence of buying this breakout, man. I know stats do kind of support it, but I don't know. Are you full buying this, or like I'm thinking season long perspective? Like, is he a sell high at this point?
No, Robbie Ray is legit. He still hasn't given up a home run to a left-handed bat this year, for what it's worth, and he actually holds a lower average against versus righties. The lefties or the righties are his power weakness, but he holds a 193 average on the season to right-handed bats. Mike, Robbie Ray is legit. I'm buying it. The strikeout upside is real. And for tomorrow's purposes, he is not going to get ownership because of all the other guys around him. He's in Arizona. He's facing Colorado. Just name in itself. Yeah, Robbie Ray is that guy tomorrow.
So this is what's got me tripping a little bit. So I'm going to just read you off his last opponents here. Okay. Philadelphia, at Philadelphia, Milwaukee, San Diego, at Pittsburgh, at Milwaukee, at San Diego, Pittsburgh. That to me is 8 starts? Yeah, 8 starts against teams that we generally pick on.
Well, not Milwaukee. Not Milwaukee.
But I mean, from a DFS perspective, I definitely pick on Milwaukee from time to time for their strikeout upside. I mean, for a guy that, especially from an aces, like I look at aces that can get a lot of swing and miss stuff. For guys that on Milwaukee, obviously they're putting it together. I think there's another argument that can be made. Are they going to keep this up as a team?
Let me play devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Robbie Ray has shown up and then some versus these teams. And he's been consistent at doing it. So that's my argument for him being legit is it's even though the teams are not elite bats by any, I mean, Milwaukee I still consider a great hitting team, but you would expect your elite players to show up at that level versus a subpar opponent, and he has. So I do think he's legit.
Again, I'm still a little bit on the fence, man. I don't know. Colorado at home does give me some pause to pay up today. Just looking at. They
strike out a ton. Versus lefties as well, Mike. Almost
definitely 20, worse.
Almost 28%. So you pair that with Robbie Ray. I just think there's a lot of upside here. I think he goes out and has a good game. And then the guy we haven't talked about yet is John Gray. This was the Rockies' ace coming into the season, and they've held it down without him. Now he's back. Dude's got mad K upside as well. I don't think I pitch him coming off an injury tomorrow. First start back. He's mad cheap, but I don't do it against Arizona at home. and I haven't heard a pitch count, but I would expect a quick leash, or a short leash, I should say.
Yeah, I would imagine. Definitely helps Robbie Ray's case a little bit, I think. Yeah, I mean, I think you can. I don't know that I want to stack Arizona again. I mean, we saw Lance Lynn do it. Like, we wanted to pick him apart today. We want to pick Wainwright apart. It's just I'm done paying up there, especially on a 15-game slate. I think.
Yeah,
they burned me twice in a row.
I'm definitely not stacking against Gray.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
So I'm with that. Atlanta, Oakland, we have Sonny Gray and Mike Fulton-Nawitz. Oakland, we know what they do at home, but they are worse versus lefties and righties, and it's not close. Their power significantly drops. Oh, I'm sorry, this is a righty. Reverse, as MC Hammer would say.
Reverse. Nice, you got my joke.
I was on it before you even said it. Frank, we just think alike at this point. Oakland at home versus righty is a thing. Mike Fulton-Nawitz, bro, I love Jed Lowry tomorrow on FanDuel for 2,800. I can do that all day. Matt Olson is 26 and 23 on DraftKings. Talk about a buy low candidate if he plays. Maybe. I know we're chasing 2 home runs, but another guy I look at is Matt Joyce. And Franklin Barreto is cheaper on DraftKings than on FanDuel, Mike, at 2,800 on DraftKings. Talk about punting shortstop.
Yeah, definitely somebody I've been on too with what he's been doing. Obviously not a great DFS punt because he's not going to really take people deep, I don't think. But he's done it already this year, so it's just not his game really. So I think he makes for a nice little 2-man if he's going to be at the top of the order with some of their power bats. What
about Yonder Alonso at 3,400 on DraftKings?
I thought he was. He was hurt. Maybe I read something.
Did he get hurt?
I thought that he was either sitting out or.
I know he sat today. I wasn't sure if he was hurt. I didn't read up on it.
I think he was. Again, I didn't get to play today because of family and work and all that. Unfortunately, because I feel like it would have been a profitable day after what happened today. But
what about Chris Davis?
I feel like I read on Twitter at some point today that he got hurt or they were resting him.
What about Chris Davis? Hot AF right now, and that's about as streaky as they come.
Yeah, that's definitely a guy that
at home. So I don't know.
He's hitting beach balls. They go out.
If Theo was on the show, he would preach stack Oakland. So I'll do that for him.
Don't say that, man. Then they're not going to do anything.
I don't know if I would stack Oakland tomorrow, but I think there are a couple of cheap plays that you can look at here. Franklin Barreto jumps off the board to me off the bat. One of the A's top prospects.
I will say, Fulton-Nawitz K rate recently has been up. He is hitting an Oakland team that is hitting well, recently as well. So something's going to have to give there. The team that strikes out a good bit. Let's see who Mikey has played recently. Milwaukee, Miami, Washington make up his last 3 starts.
He's pitched well. He hasn't pitched bad, so I agree. I don't know that I stack Oakland. I kind of look for a couple 2-mans there, but I don't know if I pitch Fulty.
Yeah, no.
We got Sam Gaviglio.
Maybe on a late slate.
Yeah, maybe.
Consider it.
Well, I mean, you got Alex Wood, so I guess if you're on DK, but if you're on FanDuel, don't fade Alex Wood. Right. Sam Gaviglio, Parker Bridwell. Parker Bridwell has not been fantastic. Seattle in LA. I mean, it is a pitcher's park. I guess you can look if Gene Segura, Ben Gamel, Mitch Haniger, those guys stay hot. Robinson Cano, Kyle Seager. I mean, there's some options here. But they're really, really expensive. I don't know that I pay for Seattle bats tomorrow in this park.
Yeah, either side, man. I think this is a little bit of a game fade for me. I think obviously both pitchers are attackable, but they've been decent at times. Gaviglio is better at home for what it's worth, but the Angels are struggling mightily at this point. And then Bridwell, I don't have a scouting report on Bridwell to spew off, but I know he hasn't been bad. He's pitching to a sub-3 ERA against good teams. Boston, 2 starts against New York. So
with you.
That to me is like, see, I don't know if I want to stack. So looking to be a little bit of a game fade again. Late slate's going to be a little different story. We'll see.
And then finally, Los Angeles at San Diego. We talked about what San Diego does versus lefties, or over a 27% strikeout rate. And then Alex Wood, who is the new Kershaw. And I don't say that lightly. This dude is got... Okay, so you want to talk about Robbie Ray being legit. What are your thoughts on Alex Wood?
I'd rather buy an Alex Wood because there's documented changes in what he's done.
See, I think both are legit, but I absolutely love Alex Wood. And, dude, his delivery is so funky. How do you pick that up as a batter?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he doesn't have a Jared Weaver issue. You know what I mean? Where his delivery was so funky that it ended up affecting his arm and his velocity at some point.
Tim Lincecum?
But, yeah, another guy. Looking up pitch type for Wood. Yeah.
I love Alex Whittemore, man. There's no doubt about that. I think, you know what, I was thinking about it on the main slate, right? Is Alex Wood or Jacob deGrom going to get more ownership? And I think because it's a late game, I think the ownership goes...
Or Robbie Ray.
I don't think it doesn't go to Robbie Ray at all. No way. No way people play Robbie Ray versus Colorado. That's what I'm saying is, I was looking at Alex Wood, and me and Chris were talking Alex Wood versus... Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray, who's going to get the chalk, but I completely forgot about deGrom. And I think deGrom gets all the ownership. This late guy's never...
I think Wood will.
You think Wood gets it over deGrom?
Yeah, man. Lefties versus San Diego, all the numbers point toward it.
Yeah, but your average fan, the guy that doesn't look... I still think deGrom has the name. I think playing Philly, late slate, I think everything points more to deGrom.
It's going to be interesting. I like that they're both on the slate. I really do. It reminds me earlier in the season when McCullers and Kershaw were on the slate, together, start after start. But I really do believe in San Diego, lefties in San Diego have just become such a stream option for me, especially with strikeout pitchers.
Yeah, but you're
not only concern I have for Alex Wood over Jacob deGrom at 11-7 is innings pitched. Alex Wood has only pitched in the 7th inning once in his last 10 starts. And deGrom, if they're in a close game, he has 120 pitch upside to get that win for the Mets. So,
I don't know.
To me, it could be enough.
I think you're thinking from your standpoint, not from the average person standpoint. I don't see how deGrom, with the name ownership to your average player, doesn't get more ownership than Wood. I think we're thinking...
I don't know. I've stopped underestimating DFS players at this point, man. I feel like it's become full of people that realize that you're going to play. You're going to have to know what you're doing. But, yeah, I think deGrom, I think deGrom might even be the smarter play than Wood at this point. So it's definitely a debate worth having, and I
can't do that.
I will continue to debate it internally, I guess, before tomorrow's lock.
That's fair. I love Alex Wood for the fact that I think deGrom, and again, this is all my theory, but I think deGrom gets the ownership. If you're not listening to a podcast and hearing Alex Wood's name, you probably still don't know who he is if you're not watching baseball heavily. He's not a guy that's heavily talked about. So I still like Alex Wood for the pivot. I think he has more upside than deGrom personally versus San Diego. And I love the fact that I can get Wood or Ray with McCullers for under 20K tomorrow. I'll tell you right now, unless something significant changes, I'm going to pitch those three guys. And the fact that I can get two pitchers under 20K on DraftKings is love.
Yeah, I definitely agree he has a higher strikeout upside in this matchup. I continuously like to pitch lefties in this park. It's just that pitching deep into games does concern me a little bit, man.
I'm with you.
And Wood hasn't been blown up, deGrom has.
Yep. So, to recap...
But I think the opponents are very similar.
I can see that. I think Philadelphia is a little worse than San Diego, to be fair.
Similar profiles as far as what they do batted ball-wise. We look at percentages.
Yeah, but that season, I think San Diego's a better team than since obviously Pirella came up, Margot's back, so I do think they're a different team.
Sure.
But to recap where we're at, 5 guys we're looking to pitch are Lance McCullers, Alex Wood, Jacob deGrom, Robbie Ray, and I personally like Mike Pelfrey as that potential guy is Garrett Cole, but he's priced up for what his upside last GPP option. But to each their own there. Another potential is, so pick and choose there. And then the guys we're looking to attack are Chris Tillman. Why am I blanking? Matt Garza. Blake Lively. Michael Pineda. And Blake Lively. Yeah, shit. I didn't catch that at first. Blake Lively and not Tanner Roark. Johnny Cueto with Pittsburgh is a sneaky stack.
We're talking about Pineda too.
Yeah, Pineda versus Houston.
Yep. Definitely game stack worthy in that Milwaukee. What is it? Milwaukee and the
Miami game.
Miami, right? All right.
So that's where we're at, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. No, you'll be at work. I'll be back tomorrow about 2:00 Best Coast time, breaking down the slate in depth. Of course, we'll give pitchers, stacks, do our whole Vegas thing, everything like that. Let you guys know where everything's going and where we're attacking. Let's hope to make it another profitable day in a row. I want to see some more GPP takedowns tomorrow. Love seeing that shit. And let's nail those picks tomorrow. Let's get in the right direction and keep making some money.
Yeah, I want to say something. Anybody that knows what this is right here, tweet at me at YanksFan37. I want to chat.
You can't. What is it? You can't see it.
This right here.
That fucking VCR.
It's not a VCR. This right here.
Oh, it's a book. It didn't look like a book from far away, Mike.
It's not a book. If you knew what it is, you know what it is. Tweet at me.
Got you. So, all right. Well, have a wonderful night, guys, and we will see you tomorrow.